and all the Andrew Tate podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Definitely listen to like all of them. It might be a bit controversial for some people, but like I don't know. You take the good and bad from what he sees, and you know put it into your own life. But
A big thank you to Casbolt's Motorcycle for sponsoring the podcast, authorised dealer of Ducati and Honda motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
Hello and welcome to the 10 Million in 10 Years podcast. I'm David, your host, and I'm joined by Sam. Welcome along.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. How do we know each other?
Man, I guess through, I think it was Instagram to start with, and then met each other at the gym and sparked up a bit of a conversation.
Exactly. And then we randomly bumped into each other on the roof of the gym that time.
That's right. Yeah. Filming for, what was it again?
For Goldman.
That's right.
Yeah. That was hilarious.
That was the first interaction.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really cool. So I guess for the listeners or the viewers, can you give us the brief 30-second, 60-second on who you are and what you do?
Well, so I'm Sam Gibson. I run a video production company called Impact Films. We do mainly like real estate content for real estate agents, and then I also work with Graham, and we have a business together called Impact Shorts, and that's basically short form content for real estate agents and other brands. And then I've got two other companies that I'm working on in the background, which haven't talked much about, but those are going good. So
cool.
Yeah.
Can you talk about those? Or?
There's probably not too much to talk about, to be honest, but one of them is going to be basically an education platform teaching people how to start their own video production business.
Cool.
How to be successful with it. And another one is a real estate investing company that I'm going to put funds into to invest in real estate.
Yeah, very cool. Have you got much experience consuming online content or being involved in online communities?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I went through a stage of my life where I just bought a bunch of courses, probably spent close to 20,000 on them, and just was learning as much as I could when I had the time to. And I think that was definitely very beneficial, even if like a lot of the courses, they don't have any direct correlation to what I'm doing now, but I think there's little golden nuggets in there that you learn good information about. So I think it's all been quite useful, but I've definitely consumed a lot of it. So I know the game, the ins and outs of it. So
yeah, cool. I think that's the nice thing with business is that you can invest in yourself, you can invest in education, and it wouldn't be outrageous to get a return on that 20K based on one thing, right?
Totally.
Yeah,
I agree.
And so what's the format do you think you'll run with? Do you think you'll run with a content bank or a specific course or a bit of both?
That's definitely something I'm thinking about. So I'm thinking probably a course. So basically just a bunch of videos that they go through, and then maybe a group coaching call every week. So they pay either a lump sum to start with, or a lump sum for 1 year, and then rolling month by month subscription after that to stay on with the coaching calls if they need it. So I'm still figuring out pricing for it, but it will go along that sort of format.
Yeah, wicked. Yeah, nice. I've been lucky enough to see inside some of those courses or inside some of those content banks that people have purchased, clients have purchased, and it's pretty staggering what's out there. Like some of that IP it's good, right?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because to be honest, I've been a little bit skeptical of these high ticket price courses and whatnot, but like seeing it, it's like, okay, that's golden, right?
Yeah.
And
I think it's how you position the offer, right? Like if you go, this is gonna make you this amount per year, and you only have to pay the fraction of that, it's worth the price. Whereas like some courses, like I know there's people that do courses on how to stop drinking, for example, how to give up drinking if you're like an alcoholic, and like to most people that might not be worth that high price that they're charging, but if you're like an entrepreneur and that your business is taking a massive hit because you're an alcoholic, then it could be worth hundreds of thousands, right?
Totally,
so
yeah.
people are willing to pay that high price. Just depends on who your audience is.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's such an interesting mindset, isn't it? Or a shift of thinking around value-based pricing versus, say, hourly rate pricing or market-based pricing.
Yeah.
I guess with what you do for real estate, it's relatively confined to a certain band, right?
Yeah. I've definitely reached a ceiling of what I can charge, but I've started, doing like Twilight videos, for example, that are an extra cool type of video that some people will pay for because that's the audience and they're willing to pay for it. But there is definitely a ceiling when it comes to video for real estate because the house is only worth so much, right? So
that's it.
they're willing to put so much into their marketing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, your content's amazing, by the way. I think that's actually how I first started following you. I think it was maybe through another mutual connection, but I was like, holy shit, this is different. This is good. Where did you learn? Where did you did you self?
Yeah, it started in high school. So I started a YouTube channel in high school because I just was always in love with like camera stuff and creating videos and stuff, and I really wanted to get into it. And I was like, right, you're not gonna get any better by not trying. So I was like, right, let's try it. So I made my first video. It was a real random niche. It was how to make a throwing knife. So it was super random, and you wouldn't think that there was an audience for that. But that video soon reached like 200,000 views on YouTube, and that was my first ever video. So I was like, right, I've got a knack for it.
Yeah.
I understand what people want to watch as well. And so just keep doing it. Made another video about my like body transformation because I was really into personal training and all that sort of stuff. So that got like 1 million views pretty quickly. So I was like, right, am I going to be a YouTuber or am I going to be like a videographer? Like, what am I going to do? I wasn't making much money from YouTube at the time, so I was like, right, I need to start making a business out of it. Started cold calling gyms in my area because my dad owns a gym, and that's how I sort of started creating videos for his gym. And then got my first client called Limit Zero, and made a video for them, and they were ecstatic with it. They loved it, and just kept making videos. And here we are. So
love it. Wicked. And what did the cold calling go like, generally speaking? Was it?
It was hard.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a very confident person. I've had to work on that quite a bit. So it was definitely going outside my comfort zone for sure. But I did, I think, 10 calls and landed my first client. So it wasn't a bad hit rate. But I think my age definitely was not a helpful factor at the time. Right. I think I was like 17 at the time, so you sound a little bit younger and all that on the phone. So, I think it was just like, I want to do this. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I've got so much time on my hand. I'm still in high school, so let's just give it my all. So
yeah, nice. Yeah. And so you left high school and then jumped straight into fee-for-service video work?
No, so I jumped out of high school, dropped out when I was 17 because I wanted to do personal training, wanted to follow my dad's footsteps. And I thought that's what I wanted to do. Did a 6-month course at ARA, and then got out of it, started personal training at my dad's gym, and then I was like, why don't I enjoy this as much as I thought? And I hated the sales process for it because I felt like I was being too pushy, and I just didn't believe in myself, I guess. I had a lot of imposter syndrome, even though I'd built like a really good physique for that age. And so I was like, right, I'm not sure if this is for me. I'm going to keep doing it because I had a few regular clients that were seeing me, and one of them actually ended up being my mentor, and still is my mentor now. So that was a good part of it, I guess. But I was like, right, I want to start my own business. I don't know what it's going to be. And I tried probably 5 different things, tried the drop shipping, tried creating an online course about, fitness and that sort of side of things. So I tried a bunch of stuff, and it wasn't until I circled back to the video business. I was like, well, that did work in the past. Why don't I revisit that and do it better? So I was like, right, I'm going to do it. And then I quit my job at the gym, moved out of home as well, $2,000 to my name, that old story. And then I got down to I think my last $10, and rent was due like in a couple of days, and I was like freaking out, going, I can't call Dad, I can't ask for a handout, like I've burnt my boats for a reason. And I knew I had an invoice that was due like the next day. I was like praying that they paid it on time, and they did, luckily. I think it was for like $300, so it wasn't much, but it was enough to get me through. And then from there my business just exploded and just went up and up and up. So yeah, but I feel like you've got to get to that rock bottom where you've got a fire under your ass to actually make something happen.
Totally, that's the exact conversation I was just having before we met downstairs. With someone else, it was that exact same thing. It's like, until you actually need to do something to prove to yourself what you're able to do, I think that's a moment that I think every entrepreneur should go through if they haven't already.
Absolutely.
I've been there, like, this one business that was extremely cash hungry, and the payment cycle worked in like chunks of payment. It was in a regular type payment cycle. Totally tapped out, like negative $10, right? Negative more, and then it's just like, holy shit, when's this money going to come in, right? But
it's a scary place to be.
But it's a rite of passage, I think.
It is. It is. I feel like you've just got to go through that.
I think so. And so how long ago was that? That was about how long?
Probably 2 years ago. About 2 years ago.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think. 2.5 around there.
And you've been working like a demon ever since.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I never want to get back to that point.
No.
Ever again. It scares me.
So you put in some pretty big hours, from what I can understand.
Yeah. A lot. I think it's I wake up, I work. Basically. Try to be as efficient as possible during those hours and get as much done as I can.
What's your favourite part of the process? Is it the production of the final video? Is it the making money? Is it the happy customer? Is it a bit of both?
It's a really good question. So it used to be seeing the final video when I was like doing a bit more creative stuff, like the car stuff and all that. But then with real estate, it's still a little bit of that, but not as much. It's more of an operation, like I've got to get this shit done.
It's
today.
A transactional thing.
It is. And I'm not going to lie, I'm extremely motivated by money. I mean, I think you have to be as a business owner.
100%.
And but also it's the client satisfaction, like that is a massive thing for me. Like I've always wanted to have the goal of just like, as soon as someone is a client of mine, they no longer want to go anywhere else because they're so happy with the the client satisfaction part of it. So I definitely put a lot of importance on that, getting things done quickly. If someone wants a revision, getting it done as soon as you can, even if you are super busy. If you can do something for free, do it for free, don't charge them. Just stuff like that. I think it's the small things, because then they feel like you just go above and beyond for them, which you do. So it's definitely a massive part. And like whenever I get a revision and like someone's not happy, which doesn't happen very often to be honest, but when it does, it's like like why what did I do wrong? And so it's like I'm scared of that feeling too,
right?
So I do as much as I can to not feel that.
I guess in creative businesses there's always going to be that subjectivity, right?
Absolutely.
There's always going to be the fact of opinion, like I like Apple, someone likes Android. But I guess it's important not to take that personally. And there's probably only so much you can do, because ultimately it is your personal work, so of course it's going to affect you, right?
Totally.
And so what's the worst part then? Is that the worst part?
The worst part, like as in like the business itself?
Business, or just
probably like not having as much time with like friends, family, my girlfriend, that sort of thing. There's a lot of, at this like sort of echelon, I guess you could say, of like production, that's all you do. All you do. And you don't have much weekends. So I guess it's like, man, there's no balance at all. If you want to be the best, there's going to be no balance in your life, and you've got to accept that and know that's part of the journey, and know that one day there will be a time where you can sit your feet up and just relax. But until that day, it's just work.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing, though. It is a season that you're going through, you know, and it's probably a little bit unclear on how long that season's going to last for, but it's knowing that you're not going to be doing this all your life.
Yeah, totally.
You're putting in the yards now and laying a foundation so that you can transform into something slightly different in the future, right?
Yeah, definitely. And like if there's anyone out there that wants to go on that journey, just know there's going to be like, you know, your family saying, you shouldn't work as much, you're going to burn out. And like, you're going to get so many people trying to, and they're doing it from the goodness of their heart, but just know that's coming, and just not to listen to it. Like, you just have to work, like outwork everyone.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting comment, right? I think partly there's probably two different types of comment like that. There's probably the ones that are close to you that do love you and do want the best for you, and then there's the ones that just need to be cut from your life that aren't believers.
Yeah.
They are misaligned with what you're doing.
Totally.
They've got different dreams and different values.
Yeah.
And it's probably just trying to discern between those two.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I think it's a self-perception thing from their perspective. Like,
that's right.
If they don't believe they could do it for themselves, or they don't believe they could work that hard, they're going to tell you not to work that hard. They're going to tell you that's not realistic. Like, I've had extremely close people in my life go, I said, I'm going to be a millionaire one day, and they go, no, you're not being realistic. Blah,
right.
blah, blah.
Really?
And I know that's just coming because they don't believe it's possible for them.
Yes.
And so they don't want you to get hurt because I've been hurt by that, right? So it's like, I get it, but I'm not going to listen to you.
No. And I think that's when it's important to choose who you do hang out with, and it's something that I've learned over the last 18 months or so of doing this challenge. Probably the one big thing is just who you spend time with.
Yeah.
If your circle is quality and aligned with what you want to do, and it's even a more of an up level than a down level, then that's sort of the magic.
It is. Yeah. Like that old saying, like, you are the sum of the five.
Oh man, it's like such a cliche, but I believe it so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you see it on someone else's podcast, like that was one of the common denominators between the successful, was like, they are very conscious about who they hang out with.
Yeah.
Because they know it rubs off on them.
Totally, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you think of yourself, like if you think of, say, if there's yourself and 4 other people that are working similar hours, similar habits, similar like levels of production. If you're the 6th, of course you're going to do the same, right?
Exactly, because you're going to be like
you'd
embarrassed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's all interesting, that kind of stuff. So first podcast appearance. Have you listened to many?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
Got a go-to?
I mean, all the Andrew Tate podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Definitely listen to like all of them. It might be a bit controversial for some people, but like I don't know. You take the good and bad from what he sees, and you put it into your own life. But apart from that, like a lot of Alex Mosey's stuff. Like, listen to him. But like I'm terrible when it comes to like knowing the names of different podcasts, and that I just listen to the guests who I want to listen to.
Gotcha.
Like, I've listened to quite a few of yours, with like Tom Hardy and Jack Andrews and James Wallace and stuff like that, taking bits and bobs from them.
Yeah.
I think is important.
Yeah, it is quite cool when you can find a local one that the people. I found that's quite cool for myself. Like listening to ones where you either know the guest or the host, it's kind of cool.
It is.
Yeah, it's a local. Like, I love the international ones. They're great. Production's great, content's great, but also it's not as relatable, right?
No, completely not. Especially when they're like super high performers. Like, it's good to like be aspirational to that, but seeing what people are doing in your own home like city, it's like,
totally.
Shit like that's possible.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one reason why I really enjoy doing the podcast, is that I'm able to have conversations with people that maybe wouldn't have come about otherwise. It's a good excuse to get someone in a room for an hour or so and have a yarn, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you do it anyway, so why not record it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to me how, like, having done 100 episodes now, the amount of content that's out there, it's starting to flip back around, and people have been like, oh, I listened to episode 53 and just loved that little bit, you know, like that really helped me. I'm like, oh, fuck, how good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so meaningful to me.
Because you've got, it's a snowball effect too, right? Because like you've got this whole backlog of all this content, and people will watch one and then they'll go watch another and another and another, and it's just like the views will start to accumulate like that, right?
Yeah, and I definitely noticed that with the downloads. Like, I guess you'll, as you say, you'll get one or two people that come across it, resonates with them, and then they will binge the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But you know, that just reinforces for me the value of constant improvement.
Yeah.
I do want the audio quality to be better, and just try to be better all the time with it.
That's the way. 1% better every day.
Yeah. Again, like another like commonly said thing, but so true, right?
It is.
Yeah,
completely.
Who else do you sort of consume content from? Maybe not in a podcast medium, but books or.
Definitely don't read books.
No, I don't listen to any.
I did as a kid.
Yeah.
Like I read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
That was like life changing for me at the time, because I was quite young, and it just put in that mindset of, you know, I guess that rich mentality and stuff. But apart from that, like I used to listen to a lot of Tony Robbins growing up, a lot of David Goggins, but more recently, you know, Andrew Tate, Iman Gidgey, and those sort of people have been quite good to listen to. But I think you reach a point and you go, right, I'm done consuming. It's time to live my life.
Yes.
Live life like I want to live it.
Yeah.
I've taken everything I need to know from other people.
Yeah.
You know, let's write my own story.
That's a really good point. Yeah. I went through that sort of phase. Like, you know, I had goals of X amount of books per year, and I'd just get to the end of the year and I'm like, I think I've read that book. Have I read that book? Yeah, I'd read that book. It's on the list, but I literally remember nothing from it. It's like, what's the point in that?
What is the point?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I guess it might seep into your meta knowledge somehow, but yeah, I don't know.
I think there is a powerful thing in it with the whole like reading it, even though you might not know it consciously. It probably is still in your subconscious, and it probably is actually affected your life without you realizing it.
Yeah,
I think there is definitely something in that when you're actually reading pages of a book.
Yeah,
it's a lot different to just listening to something, or because it's very easy to forget that.
Totally.
So
yeah, I've got this mat at the moment. You know those electromagnetic field mats? Have you seen those?
No, I haven't seen one of those.
Oh, so it's this crazy mat, right?
Yeah.
James Wallace got me onto it.
Yeah.
It's like a $6,000 mat,
yeah.
but you can rent them for $400 a month.
Yeah.
And so I've got this mat, and because of what it does, you can't have any devices near it. So you can't have a cell phone or headphones or anything.
Because it's like a magnet type thing.
And so it's like almost forcing me to read. And so, well, not forcing me, but it just seems like a good way to spend the time, right?
Yeah.
Because you're on it for 20 minutes or so. And I've been reading this book at the moment called Plant Paradox. Have you come across that? Quite interesting. It talks about the way that we've evolved to millions of years of eating a certain way, and then in the last little bit with farming and agriculture, and our bodies just aren't really used to processing what we're eating, and that's why a lot of diseases are happening. And so
I believe in that. Through
optimizing your diet based on further back, it's pretty restrictive. So I'm not sure if I'll give it a go. But
what is sort of the fundamental of it?
The fundamentals are that a lot of the foods that we consume have these, I think they're proteins called lectins or leptins, lectins I think. And so it's a type of thing that your body just doesn't really handle very well. And that, as I say, like causes a lot of the medical issues that we've got. Yeah. Weight gain, moodiness, all this stuff, right? And so there's like a 3-phase diet that you go through, like a cleanse and then a sort of a establishment phase. But he's a doctor that wrote it, and so he's got a lot of patients that have followed it and had wicked results. And so it's almost like something that you would use as a last resort. But with that said, I'm still pretty curious about it.
Yeah. So I think like your diet is so fundamental to like your mood and all that. Like a lot of people overlook it, I reckon. Like I do like intermittent fasting, and that has like completely changed like my energy levels.
Really?
Completely. Like they always say, you know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but I reckon it's the complete opposite. I reckon it's the worst meal of the day, because as soon as you have it, I mean, it depends on what you have, right? But like, if you have like bacon and eggs and, you know, toast, I feel like it just, your energy goes to digesting that food, and so it takes away from, you know, your mind and all that. So I think just waiting at least till like 2 p.m. to eat, and just have black coffee in between and water and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I found it useful for me.
Yeah.
What sort of diet are you on at the moment?
Pretty clean, like like I don't tend to eat a lot of sugar. It's just basically, yeah, it's just like I've tried a few different variations, but at the moment I'm really eating like steak and salad for most dinners. Just whatever's around, vegetable salad wise, and then rice ball for lunch, protein shake somewhere in the mix, and maybe some eggs as well. But yeah, I don't know, it seems to be working, and I think that's maybe why this plant paradox isn't as appealing, because it's like I'm in this system that's pretty good.
And it's working for you.
It's exactly it's working for me. It's pretty easy to produce. It's, you know, cost effective. Like, it just ticks a lot of boxes. So I think that's the big thing, you know, like people doing diets and, you know, things that just are not sustainable. So like, although it might be great for a month, like if you can't keep it going, then
that's the thing. It's the same with like goals and all that. It's just, you need to do things that you know you're going to do, because it builds that self-confidence and stuff. To stick to a diet that you know you can do day in, day out, and it's not a challenge. And you get the most out of it. It's more beneficial.
It just validates you, right? Validates your ability to do what you say you're going to do. And that was something that came out of the end of the sauna session actually the other night. Was Dan was saying how we talked about this. We were planning it back in November, right? And just jokingly saying we should do like 100 minutes in the sauna to commemorate the 100th episode. And we sort of threw the idea around for a couple more weeks, and it's like, let's do it. Let's roll. And so like to actually walk out of the sauna and having done it, it's like, that's good, right? That reaffirms that you can do what you say you're going to do.
Exactly.
So it's like a muscle of sorts.
It is, completely. And that way you just go throughout your whole life knowing, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. You know, and then you just turn it into reality. You do everything you can to turn it into reality, at least.
I've been super mindful of that lately, maybe in the last, say, 6-12 months. It's just like not committing to anything that I'm not going to stand a chance of following through with. Even if it's like, I'll send you that contact on email. It's like, am I? Like, it's pretty easy to forget how to do that, right? Whereas just little things like that, I think. You know?
Completely.
Just being really clear with what you're going to do and not do.
It's funny, like, I always think about, like, I think Tony Robbins said, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And there'll be something so silly, like, I'll be putting stuff in a dishwasher and a fork will fall down underneath, you know, when that happens, and I'll go, I don't want to pick it out, I'll just leave it there. But then part of me will be like, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
100%.
And I'll just get in there, take the fork out, put it in, even if it annoys me, I'll just be like, right, that's a small thing, it's a win, right? It's like, just how you do one thing is how you do everything. I believe that.
Totally. I have got so many examples of that, right? Like, just like, rinsing your dishes, you know, like trying to teach people to, like, it's such a small amount of work up front. But that rinse is going to save like a minute of scrubbing.
Exactly.
You know, like you're going to do it. So why not just make it easy on yourself?
Just do it right.
Just do it right. I'm
Totally.
a firm believer in that. I wonder if that, I mean, I was going to say that comes with like experience and maturity, but I mean, you're pretty young. You figured that out earlier.
Totally. Well, I think you sort of, as you run a business and that at such a young age, like you have to do things right. You have to do things completely, because you don't have the advantage of being mature, or people seeing you as mature at least, you know, like, especially when I was, getting started like 17, like a lot of people will, judge you, and be like, is this guy capable of what he says he's going to do? So I think doing those things, those small things right completely is important. I reckon.
Absolutely. What is the general Andrew Tate message, or what is his? I haven't really watched a lot of his content.
Yeah, I'd say it's similar to that. And it's just like, be a provider for the people you love, work extremely hard, don't put happiness first, put pride first, put being proud of yourself first, and that sort of thing. So I think that overall message is what I believe in. Maybe not so much on the other stuff that he talks about, but like that part of it I totally agree with.
Yeah, he came up on an earlier podcast I did, and I was a bit fearful to dig deeper because of the negative stuff was a bit more front of mind at that point.
Yeah.
But now I feel like that's chilled out a little bit, right?
It's blown over.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's still putting out content, right?
Yeah, he is, and I think he's started going back on podcasts now and stuff.
Right.
But I think he's still on trial for the whole thing. So
right.
It is what it is. But
I guess like a lot of those sort of polarizing characters, they've got good and bad.
Yeah.
Or they've got good and not as good.
I think you have to get to like that level of fame. Like you have to have like a really controversial take, or at least have somewhat of a controversial take, and then put like a huge big spin on it to make it a lot of people annoyed and a lot of people like happy that you're saying it. So there's that divide.
Yeah.
That's how he became so famous.
I guess you look at a lot of figures like say Gary Vee, for example. I think he is someone that has done so much good in the world and put so much positive, useful, valuable content out there, but yet still people manage to misperceive what he's saying, right?
Oh, totally.
And misunderstand him, that he's saying like hustle your face off until you don't do anything else. Like
there's always going to be like a subsection of people that don't align with what he's saying.
That's right.
There always is going to be that. Like otherwise, we'd all be the same, right?
Yeah, that's true.
What's the fun in that? So,
yes.
There's always going to be controversy.
Yeah, totally. So what's next for you in the rest of the year? You've got the new business starting with Graham that's up and running. You've got the other two projects that are ticking away in the background.
So I think like financially the goal is 1.5 million. So if I can hit that, that's great. So Impact Films, I want to start bringing someone on as like a contractor, doing their own clients under my brand, and then from there, Impact Shorts, we just want to get to like 10, 20 clients by the end of the year, all on monthly retainers, which is
nice.
great. And then with the content cash flow, which is my education platform thing, I want to get that running by like July, because I have like a sort of a slow period during winter for Impact Films. So if I can get that up and running by July, that'd be great as well. And then from there, just invest all the profits into real estate. That's the overall goal for the year.
Clear.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1.5 turnover or...
1.5 turnover.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because how old are you?
22.
Yeah. And the reason I ask is that like what I've learned over the last, say, 18 months and like specifically in the last 3 is just like I wouldn't say anything's possible. A lot is possible. I've seen some entrepreneurs go from 0 to 20k months pretty quick, and the old me might have been skeptical of that. Yeah. But I think like what a world we're living in, right?
Yeah, totally. There's so much opportunity out there, and like my goal when I first like got into it, I was like 10k a month. I gotta hit that. That's like, man, if I hit that, I've won. I've escaped the matrix. Like I'm winning. But when you hit that, you go, man, that was easy, almost not super easy, but like doable.
Yeah.
Anyone could do that.
Yeah.
And like that's what I tell like people like Graham and Ben that have come into the space. Like, set your goals high because there's no limit to what's possible, especially in this industry. So yeah, and I think like last year I set a goal of doing 300,000, and I think I did 280 in the end, and so I was like, well, that came pretty close. But when I set that goal at the start of last year, I was like, there's no way I'm going to do 300. Like, it was just like a stupid goal. I was like, I don't really know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to strive for it. Why not? And like I got pretty damn close. So it's like, man, okay, let's do the same this year. Like, let's just create a crazy goal, and like I probably will fall short, but like it's like shoot for the stars, and you'll shoot for the moon. You'll end up in the stars, right?
Yeah, shoot for the stars, hit the moon. Yeah, I know what you mean.
One of the two.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So
totally.
like, yeah.
No, that's great. And I think, back to what we were saying earlier about who you hang around with, like if you're hanging out with peers and customers and friends that are equally motivated and driven and working hard, like you're just going to stand so much more of a chance of getting there, right?
Yeah, definitely. But it's just like, seeing people like James Wallace and what he's been able to do. He's pretty young too. Like, if he can do it, then why can't we, right?
Totally. So, no, he's a really good example of someone that's just done the work, like just showed up and gone through the mud, like gone through phases that haven't been so pretty, but just hang in there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I think again, like back to the whole local thing, that's like what is really cool is that when you come across someone that's maybe looking further afield for inspiration or someone to look up to or to look for motivation, it's like they're right here, like they're under our doorstep. And like a lot of the podcast guests I've been lucky enough to spend a bit of time with, like it's amazing what's being done locally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that someone watches this that's like maybe 16, 17, just getting into it, goes, it's been done in Christchurch, like we can do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I had a 15-year-old actually reach out to me maybe a few months ago and just sort of mentioned that he's getting into business, still at high school, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool.
Good on you.
Let's go.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got all the time on your hands.
Yeah. And I just look back to when I was in high school and how, like, I wouldn't say it was harder, but there was definitely less technology. There was less positive. Well, I mean, there was still the likes of Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Tony Robbins, but I guess it wasn't quite as accessible.
Yeah.
It was still almost in like the tape/CD era.
That's right. Yeah.
And so it was really hard. It was a lot harder to sort of know who's doing what.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like, someone can just listen to a podcast and be like, oh, shit, this guy's aiming for 1.5 million. He's 22. Cool. That's good.
Totally.
Yeah. And I think it self-validates as well. Like, the more stories like that, the more it becomes normalized.
Exactly. I think it needs to become normalized.
Yeah.
Like, especially in like New Zealand, right? It's like that whole tall poppy syndrome and all that. Like, people want you to do well until you're doing better than them. So it's like, get rid of that. Like if someone's doing better than you, go, how do I get to where they're at?
Totally.
Like whenever I see someone doing really well, I never think for a second like, oh, like they shouldn't be bragging about that or whatever.
No.
Like I'm just like, man, I want to do that now. Like it's like,
it's fuel.
Change your perspective on it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Positive fuel, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I spent a bit of time with someone that has like a really well running, dialed in business, and it's just like opened my eyes to what's possible for this next phase of my business, like with coaching leading into more of a consultancy offering, and it's just awesome, like to see that firsthand. It's so relevant. Like I like the way that a lot of course creators and international sort of entrepreneurs have been quite transparent with their revenue composition. So it's not mysterious anymore as well. I find that's really helpful.
It's just people want to see it.
Exactly. And that's like what we were talking about before, right? Before recording, just about like throwing real numbers up there.
Exactly.
Without the realness, it's arbitrary, isn't it? It's
people are just guessing like what is.
Yeah. I saw one of your TikToks with the day in the life sort of thing. You still doing those?
Yeah. I got Ben editing those for me, so been a bit slack lately actually, so I need to get back onto it. But basically doing like a millionaire challenge where every day I break down how much I'm earning, how much I'm spending, so it's also like a accountability thing to stop me from spending as much.
Yes.
And it's good for people to see, they can follow along on the journey and stuff, and that's actually how like Ben even came across me like ages ago, like last year. Like he came across one of the millionaire challenge and reached out and wanted to have a chat. So it's just like it's a good little networking thing too. So,
yeah, totally. How have you found TikTok as a platform?
Great.
Yeah,
great. Like just started about a month ago. I think got like 100,000 views or 110,000 views in the first month. So it's like, it works. But it's about, okay, how do I then turn that into revenue? And so that like, it's sort of going to be a funnel basically into content cash flow, which is going to be my education thing. So, but yeah, it's that thing of just like people going, man, like that's possible. And like I've got so many messages of people going, can you teach me your ways? Like, how'd you do this?
Right.
What are you doing? Like, so there's definitely interest in it. So yeah, I think it's just being transparent with it.
And is that one of the motivations for creating online content? Paid online content, I should say.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because like when I was growing up, I always wanted there to be someone where I could like just ask questions or just like learn how to be successful. Because when you're getting started, it's like a world that you just got no idea about. Like there's so many secrets that you don't know. And so I think putting that together in a way that someone can just go through my course and then have a few coaching calls and know everything they need to know.
Yeah.
And then from there, build their own successful business.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's about, right? Like, otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
You can't just take someone's money and then not help them
make
more money, right?
No, you want to provide value, and that's the name of the game, isn't it? Like the price is just down the road, isn't it? In terms of relevance, I think value is what someone
definitely
is looking for. I like that. The amount of real estate or mileage I've got out of that Hormozy pricing model. You know, the start at zero and then discount by 80%.
Yeah.
It's so easy. But yeah, like for early stage business owners or entrepreneurs, it's like, this is how you do it. Like, just start giving it away.
Yeah.
Prove that there's a market, prove that someone wants it even at free.
Yeah.
And then just charge a little bit and then charge a bit more.
Yeah, that's exactly how I started Impact Films as
yeah.
well. Yeah. Just started free to fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be any harder than that, does it?
No. If someone is out there that wants to start a business, literally just start for free.
Yeah.
Get your work out there. Like if you're doing videography, get your work out there and just like practice.
Get some reps.
You know, that's the only way you get reps, right? So do that, and then as soon as you're getting booked out, then you start raising your prices. As soon as you're booked out, raise them again. If you're fully booked, raise them again.
Yeah.
And just keep doing that until you reach a sweet spot where you're almost fully booked, not quite, you've got a little bit of dead space, but you're still earning more money for your time, right? So
yeah, 100%. What's the plan with real estate? What are you thinking for that?
Like investing?
Yeah.
So I want to do my first one with my dad. So we're going to go 50-50. So I'm saving up for a deposit on that because he's got a couple rentals, so it'd be good to learn from him,
nice.
Learn the ropes, and then from there probably just. Yeah, okay, like this year I want to buy 2 rentals, and then next year I want to do probably 5, and I just want to buy and hold. I don't want to do any flipping or anything like that. Just want to
keep it easy.
Keep it easy, and just, get the capital gains in 10 years or so.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm so young, right? Like I don't need to be doing all this flipping, carrying on, like, and like my cash flow is from my businesses. So I don't need to create more cash flow from property, just buy and hold.
Almost like a compulsory savings
basically
plan,
yeah. Just force me to save and stop being an idiot when it comes to spending.
I was going to say, actually, that came across my mind before. Have you experienced lifestyle creep? That
completely? Yeah, 100%. Like,
pretty hard to resist that, right?
It is. Yeah. Like last year, moved into a nice apartment and got the nice car and all that, and it's like,
that's right, I remember that when you were
like, you've got to do it. Like, I think it's important, like getting like a nice car, for example, like it opens a few doors, people take you more seriously and stuff, but like it's not going to make you more money, like it's not, but it does help your mindset go. You feel a bit better every day. Like you're driving, you go, I'm doing well. Doing well. Proud but not satisfied. But I think like now that I've got it, like this year, one of my goals was like, I'm not going to change anything about my lifestyle. I'm going to even pull it back a bit. Cut down the dinners and all that. Just cut it down, and just focus on building like a massive business. Because you can get caught and the idea of like you're earning this money, you go, I may as well spend it. You know,
it's fine to do this.
Yeah. So I've been putting a lot into like crypto as well as a forced saving. I'm like putting it in there. I'm not taking it out for a while. So just doing stuff like that is important as well. Just getting rid of it so you don't have the temptation of spending it.
100%. Yeah. Some good books on that, and I mean, I like parts of the Barefoot Investor model. I don't know if you've read that book at all.
I haven't heard that
or heard about it, but it's just like there's a few parts to it, but one is just having a set of different sub accounts that you allocate the money to, so that it's essentially not sitting there. It's not rocket science. It's just like, as you say though, it's just getting it out of the main visible field, right?
Exactly. It's like if you're on a diet, you don't want to eat bad food, don't have bad food in the house.
It's that simple.
Get rid of it, and like you won't be thinking about it, and just having as much friction in the way to actually getting that bad food.
Exactly.
So if you can do that in other aspects of your life, then do it.
I think at the end of the day, like we're looking for that path of least resistance, right? And so if you can create systems to prevent distractions coming at you, then absolutely,
completely.
Very good. Anything else to mention?
I don't know, did we want to talk about efficiency maybe?
Efficiency, absolutely.
Let's do it.
I guess through the process of I don't really like the word busy, but I guess it is a relevant word in this case. As you have become busier and your time has become more precious, how have you found that improved your efficiency, or what steps have you taken to improve your efficiency?
So like I was getting to the point where I was just like, especially last year towards the end of the year, it was like peak season for real estate. It was like 16, 18-hour days, just non-stop, just work, and that was like really taxing on the body, and so I guess now this year, when it started to get busier again, it just forced me to come up with something more efficient, a way of being more efficient. So basically, last year I had so many gaps between my bookings. Like it was like a 30-minute gap there, 50-minute gap there, and I was just not able to do anything in there. Like I would drive to the next listing and just wait outside for the agent to arrive, and I would just do a little bit of admin on my phone, but it wasn't
revenue producing.
It wasn't producing anything. So this year it's been like, right, I'm going to be a bit more tough on the agents, saying, look, I need to have the booking done here or here, and most of the time they say yes, but if they try to push for another time, I'm just like, no, we've got to do this time because it's efficient, right? So having less time between bookings, shooting them a lot quicker. So I'm shooting them in like 45 minutes now, where it used to take like an hour and 15, hour and a half. And so now I'm able to fit in like 5 shoots in a day instead of 3 or 4. And I'm finishing a lot earlier by doing, smaller gaps. And then when I get home, it's straight to dumping off footage, no mucking around. And then instead of editing a video one by one, I'll then edit every video to a song first, and then I'll go back and do color grading on all of them, and then go and do all the reels. So that way I'm not getting distracted between even the different tasks. So I'm just doing all the tasks in one go. That way it's just like you're streamlined. You're not stopping and starting.
Gotcha. You're essentially batching your tasks into similar tasks batched together. So basically, all the shooting together, then all the dumping of content together.
All the editing to music, all the color grading, and just doing it in a streamlined way like that.
Nice.
Has been real beneficial. So I'm able to do 5 in a day, edit them all by about 1 a.m, which I know still sounds like a big day, but like last year if I was doing 5 in a day, I was finishing at like 3:30 a.m. So it wasn't.
So that's an improvement.
Definitely an improvement. And just a lot less stress now. Because I know if I have 5 in a day and I finish at 5 shooting, I know I can get it done. Whereas before it was like, man, this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Still hard, but
Have you so do you reckon your editing time per video has come down significantly?
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
A huge amount. Like, just when you're doing 5 a day, you get really good at it.
Yeah.
Right? I've got like a formula of the way that shots are put into the video and that sort of thing, and I know what each client likes and that sort of stuff. So you just become really good at it.
Yeah, nice.
Mm-hmm.
And with the addition of this new contractor or a person that'll shoot underneath the brand, so is the model there to have, it's sort of like a real estate agency where you take a percentage of their revenue?
Exactly, yeah. So it'd be like a 60-40 split or something like that. And so they're still able to earn a good amount of money, and they can work as many hours as they want. Obviously there'll be a sort of hygiene standard of what they should be expected to do, but I'll help them get clients and that sort of thing, and just work them up to they're doing about 2 a day to start with, and then if they want to go up to 3 a day they can. But I think that's my only way of growing the business without having to do any more work. Just leveraging my brand, I guess. And I guess them learning everything I know, and so they can be super efficient as well.
Sounds like a great opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Surely there's someone out there. I guess you've got the applications already.
Yeah.
I wonder how you could filter through those in a effective
efficient
way.
Yeah. I got about 150 to go through, so there's a lot, but I'll make it work.
Have you had any go further than the CV? Have you had any conversations yet?
Yep. No, I've met up with one guy, but he's probably going to do more of the commercial side of things. So that's another avenue that we'll be going down probably in winter. So he wants to do like photography. So I'll get him doing like real estate photography, which isn't really a service I provide at the moment. So if I can just hit up all the agents I work with, I'll be busy straight away. So there's that, and then he wants to do, like he used to do a lot of commercials back in the day, like he did some for like Toy World and stuff like that, so he's got good knowledge of it, but just wants, I guess, to work on a team. And that's the perfect person, right? That's
Absolutely.
Who doesn't want to go out by themselves, just wants to work with someone, work under someone. So during winter we'll be doing a lot more of the commercial side of things, and I'll teach him how to use all the equipment and stuff and edit first, and then by winter, hopefully, by summer, he'll be doing all the commercial side of things. And nice. Completely hands off, and he takes a large proportion. So
nice. Yeah, it's a good reminder actually that not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone wants to be like a full-on business owner, right? They could be self-employed or contracting to someone, but it's just not for everyone, right?
And those are the perfect people to employ.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Because they just don't want the stress.
No.
People don't.
No, and it's understandable. I mean, like, it is stressful at times.
It is, completely.
It's definitely not for everyone.
Nope.
That was like a big outcome of the sauna chat, was just like how many, most people in there were self-employed or business owners kind of thing. And especially when you bring in payroll into the equation and having that expense that cannot be bumped, like there's really very little tolerance with bumping payroll, right? Most bills you can sort of bump if need be, but not payroll. No,
completely not.
And as team size grows, that number gets bigger.
That just sounds very scary to me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like, as I embark on this next phase of what I'm doing, there'll be people involved, and it's both exciting but also daunting as well. Right?
Because then you become responsible not only for your life but a bunch of other lives, right?
That's right.
And their families and stuff, so it becomes a lot of weight on your shoulders.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. But the upside of that is that human capital has a return, and that to create something of meaning, then often it involves people, right? Yeah. And then impact shorts simultaneously ticking away.
Yep. So I think this month we'll probably do a 10k month, which is pretty good. So I think we've got about 3 clients that are like on board, and we've got our first shoot actually straight after this. So
wicked.
That's exciting. We're just gonna slowly tick away at that.
I love it.
Not grow too fast, because I think with something like that you just want to get it right, get the operation right and stuff, because eventually we want to be completely hands off from the process, have shooters and have we've already got editors ready to go, but just stepping away from the process, because eventually we want to build it up to a point where you can sell it for the right price. But yeah, that's the goal with that.
Yeah, cool. Very cool. And I guess at the moment, like being so busy at work, have you found like your fitness and health has sort of been a secondary priority?
Yeah, not even a priority.
Nah.
But like,
just an afterthought.
It's just an afterthought. And like, I see the $89 coming out of my account from Ironwood every week, and I'm like, man, like I really should be using it. But I think it's seasons of life, going back to that, right? It's just like, if you want to be great at something, there's no balance. It's just you go on that thing. Like, and I lived my whole life growing up in the gym anyway, so I had that my whole life. So it's like, I've done that season of my life. I've achieved that. Like, I competed in bodybuilding, so I know the extreme level of it. And so it's not super important for me at the moment. I do want to revisit it one day once I've got to a point where I've got a lot of people working for me and I can kind of step away from things a little bit. But at the moment, it's just grind.
Yeah.
Business.
Yeah. Is your sleep all right?
It's actually all right at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, you know, doing things a lot more efficiently. I'm actually getting to bed at a reasonable time, like 1 a.m. or 1:30. So it's not too bad.
Yeah. I think if that was compromised, and if that wasn't super good, then maybe you would look at other levers to pull. But
yeah, like I remember last year, I was just like getting like no sleep, like 4 hours, 3 hours, just like awful, and like you just wake up the next day and you feel like you're hungover when you're not. And you're just like, man, now I'm not efficient because I'm tired, and so
that's it.
You just can't get things done as quickly anyway. So it's like, why am I doing this? And that was definitely a point where I was like, man, I need to bring someone on board. I need to think of a way to be more efficient. And so it comes back to that thing. It just forces you to think of ways to grow. But yeah, still working on it.
Yeah, as we all are, right?
Yeah. We're trying to figure it out.
We're all trying to figure it out. Yeah, I think that's it. And that's the other thing I've noticed is that even with people that are running larger businesses or medium-sized businesses with large teams, etc., they're still trying to figure it out too, right?
Yeah,
we're all trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
I think that's the misconception, is that people that are in charge of bigger businesses have got it all figured out and that they're nailing life, but it's not necessarily the case, right?
Not at all. They're just people like us.
We're all just people, yeah. Or as Dan Hood says, we're all just walking hunks of meat.
Yep.
Walking around.
Yep.
Trying to figure out life.
Yeah. Totally.
Such a good line.
Yeah, I like that.
Do you drink booze at all?
Yes, I do. I take breaks every now and again, but like, you just got to be responsible with it, right? Like, it's like anything in moderation. I think there's definitely points in your life where you should just cut it out completely. But there's some meetings I have where you just have a couple glasses of wine and it's actually really good, and that leads to great business. So it's like, well, yes, was that a net positive? I guess it was. But there's times where you can definitely go overboard. And I've done that many times. So it's learning your limits, I think, is the key. And like, especially being young, right? Like, all your friends are out partying, so there is that pull to maybe go out and have a party with them. But I feel like now I'm getting to that stage where it's like, well, it doesn't really interest me anymore. It's like, I'd rather just work on my business and I get way more enjoyment out of achieving goals than I go and going on the piss, right? It's not the same.
Yeah, because it's not just the immediate time, right? It's not just the night of, it's the day or two afterward and the flow-on effect.
It's like a week after.
And it's not to say this is always the case, but it's like, are they really the sort of people that are aligned with your things? Maybe not. Maybe, but maybe not.
Yeah. I think, there's your friends that you want to conquer the world with, and then there's your friends that you want to have a good time with, and they've got their time and place, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but
I agree.
It's finding those people that can maybe do both. It's good, and I've got a good amount of those. So
so good, right?
Completely.
I've just noticed that lately with my sleep, I've cut back on the booze or cut it out for like last week or so, and the sleep quality's just instantly improved, like dialed right up just from like not having that one glass of wine a night,
Oh, because as small as it is, it's like
it counts, right?
it definitely counts.
Yeah.
Completely. And you only notice it once you cut it out. That's the thing.
That's right. That's
You know,
right.
as soon as you cut something out like that, that's bad for you. You go, oh man, I was feeling like shit, but I didn't even know.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, like, last night I got a new client yesterday, and Emily's like, oh, should we, have a glass of wine to celebrate? And I'm like, I'd just rather not, right? Like, I'd rather celebrate in another way, but like, I just know how much my sleep's improved over the last week, and I'm pretty hesitant,
Yeah, you don't want to let go of that.
Nah. So I think these subtle things all kind of add up, but
Definitely.
then again, time and a place, right?
It's the law of accumulation. Accumulating those things that do matter, because everything does matter.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I had we were just talking about like how you do one thing's how you do everything.
Yeah.
In the apartment building where I'm at, like this was like an ongoing joke with James. He used to live in the same building.
Oh right.
And whenever we'd like see someone be sloppy with like the lift and like the shared areas, it's like, what the fuck, right? Like, who does this?
What are you doing?
Like, who would consciously like leave this place in a messy state?
Yeah.
Like, you can't avoid that.
No.
Like you can't walk up here with your muddy boots and pretend like it didn't happen.
Yeah. Love it.
But that's just everyone's different, right?
It is. Yeah. Everyone's got their own standards, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Cool, man. Well, that's good.
It's been good.
Thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
10 million, 10 years. It's been
How you tracking along?
So I've got about 15 months under the belt so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm past the 1 year mark. I made about 56 grand in the first year, net, toward my net wealth. This year I've got a goal to add 500 grand, which is largely based on a property deal I'm doing.
Yep.
And then cash flow from business will likely aid in that as well, but yeah.
Because this is a 10 million net worth in 10 years?
Yeah. But no, I'm feeling like really good. If you had have asked me that, say, 6 months ago, I would have been a lot less certain, but at the moment I'm feeling very confident.
It'll be one of those things where like it'll be like exponential, right? Like it just, the ball starts rolling and rolling and rolling, and you get to the end and you go, man, I surpassed that.
Well, yeah, that's the goal is actually to do it in 5. That's just like a secret goal.
Yeah.
That I just shared on that. But yeah, I really would like to do it in 5 years.
Yeah, there's no reason why you can't.
There's no reason. No. And I'm very clear on the next 1 to 2 years.
Yeah.
The next year or two after that's not as clear, but yeah, I'm feeling like it's a good stretch goal to do it in 5.
Mate, make it happen.
I think that would be awesome, right?
Yeah.
And again, hanging out with the right people, hanging out with people that believe anything's possible, I think that all helps.
People that have the same mindset.
Yeah. I mean, even like yourself, right? Like, we don't know each other super well, but I've known of you and I've known roughly what you're doing. And it's just like, this is cool. Like, that's why I wanted to ask you on the podcast, is that I find that you can get inspiration and motivation from people that you don't necessarily even know that well.
Completely.
But they're in your orbit, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, again, James Wallace, he's been mentioned like a dozen times. He's one of those people that like I see a bit more frequently now, but he's been like someone that's putting out content, that's doing it, that's in the local market, that like I just find myself asking myself, like, what would he do in this case? He'd probably just call them and try and sell them something. Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Completely. Like, it's just a different mindset, right?
Yeah.
You just got to pick that up.
So I think having people both in your inner circle and outer circle, I think that's both important. So
definitely.
Yeah. Any final quote, message, inspiration?
I think it's just that, right? Like,
it's just that.
Don't think anything's impossible. Because like when you, like, for example, the $10,000 a month mark, like it was like, man, if I can hit that, that's awesome. But then you hit it and you go, that's now the new hygiene standard, and just keep going from there. So it's like, you think it's impossible till you reach it and then you realize how easy it was. So just shoot for the moon. You might
stars.
hit the stars.
Shoot for the moon. That'll be the name of this episode. It'd be cool to do another episode this time next year to see how you go on the 1.5.
That would be good.
That'd be good, right?
Yeah.
Because
this is on the 500 too.
Yeah, well, that's right. So this will be posted in a couple of weeks, and so we'll have this
recorded on like mid-March, right?
I've got to do it now.
There you go. It's locked in.
Recorded. Yeah.
Hey, so good, man. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. We'll see you back in the next episode.
Absolutely.